Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Yasin here, and today we're going to talk about my first strandberg ever. This is a Boden and X Plini edition Neck-Thru model. Let's summarize the features first. I know you can read them on the internet, but still I'm going to give you a quick summary. With the body we have chamber swamp ash, solid maple top, and with the veneer of black wood, Australian blackwood. We have sewer pickups SSH and SSV with a three-way pickup selector. What you can do is use either one of them or use outer coil of this one and inner coil of this one, if I remember correctly. We do not have the tone knob. I never used it, so I actually didn't care. But we have the volume, so you're safe. We have a really nice tremolo. I was quite skeptical about this. This is the EGS Pro Rev 7 tremolo. I don't like Floyd Rose guitars. I had one a couple of years ago and it was my first, so maybe I'm the problem, but setting them up is quite hard. But this one was actually good enough. The tuning stability is really nice, intonation is amazing, and even though it's not easy to set up intonation, I think it's not a big issue. I'm going to talk about it in a later section. We have the Richlight fretboard. It's 20-inch radius, and we have lumen lace side dots and this nice Plini moon logo, moon crescent, something like that. This is a Fen fret or melt scale. I don't know which one you're calling, but it is 25 to 25 and a half. And I really like it because when I was deciding on getting a new guitar, my idea was to use a standard tuning guitar, practice with it, you know, live with it, but covering Plini or other bands or, you know, make my own songs, and I need a tremolo, I should be able to drop the tuning with not too much investment of time, because I don't have too much time to set a Floyd Rose guitar. But this one is surprisingly really fast. I think it took 10 to 15 minutes to put it in the drop C sharp with the full setup, and it was my first time. So I watched the videos, the strandberg playlists, if you know it, they have a lot of videos for setting up. We have the patented amazing EndurNeck. I was quite skeptical about this. It is kind of an issue for the community. Some people like it, some people don't like it. And normally the claims for the ones they like it is that it's much easier to play, much easier to practice. You can practice longer times, and it is actually healthy for you to play with this. And to my experience is, yes, I played this one for last month because I bought it a month ago. Obvious. And what happened is I used the EndurNeck's guide. To me, this area, I don't know if it's called guide, but I called it guide for explaining a little bit easier. And when I followed this guide, it was much easier to work on my techniques and practice routine. And after that, I said to myself that I will practice with this one and my custom 24 only, because it's amazing. And since it's lightweight and it has this comfortable design with the cuts, I can, where's my foot rest? Yep, here. I can just do this, and naturally I have a better and healthier pose, and I can practice longer with this. So these are the features summarized, and we're gonna continue with the tones. After that, I will explain why I bought this, what were my concerns. If you have them, I'm gonna answer those questions that I asked months ago, so it's gonna be much easier for you to decide, I hope. So let's continue with the tones. I'm gonna show you only dry tones. We have Clean that I made with Plini or stole from Plini. It was one of the presets. I think Selenium Forest Sparkle, it's gonna be in there on the screen. We have the Crunch, still dry. And after that, for distortion tone, I actually went for the 14 Kali suite instead of Plini because I like it more and I play genty stuff, and I never ever use the distortion tone in the Plini. Maybe for the leads when I need to set it up, but if it's going to be a riff kind of thing, it's always either Gojira or 14 Kali. So we will use 14 Kali here. I have another dry high gain tone for you. I will also noodle around with a DI tone, and I will also put it in the description so you can download it and just do whatever you want with it. Actually, if you want to sample it, sample it. If you want to put it, you know, load your plugin, get your sounds, maybe you can get some, you can have some understanding of how it's going to be sound when you play it. Of course, it's my fingers, it's my set of strings, it's my home, it's my mood. So of course, what you're going to play is going to be completely different. But at least about, you know, resonance, shape, pickups, setup, and everything, it's going to be in there with the DI tone. So I want to give you some extra for you to test that out. So, you heard the tones. What do you think? Put it in the comments and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. I want to talk about what was my concern when I was getting this. So, first of all, the obvious thing, elephant in the room, is the EndurNeck, because it's quite unique and not all the guitars, or not any of the brands, have that kind of special thing going around. Of course, neck comfortability differs from people to people, but this one actually pleased me. I was quite skeptical because I never had anything like this before, and my concern was, buying this, and after seeing that I'm not fit to use that, play that, I'm not comfortable with it, I will just, return it, and it's gonna be a waste of time for me, and this could be bought for by other person. So second thing was the tremolo system. So I had only one guitar with Floyd Rose system, so I had huge concerns because back then I didn't know what to do. I'm not blaming the guitar, but the Floyd Rose is kind of a hassle. That sonic features and all the cool whammy stuff that you can do is actually coming with a big cost of maintenance. When you set it up, you should be quite careful. When you change the tuning, you need to set it up again. And I'm a software engineer. I am working full-time. This thing is a hobby. I have a family. I don't have too much time to set this guitar just for another song. And for that reason, I wanted something stable. My concern was Strandberg is not going to deliver that feature, but I think it did. I decided to go drop C# and set this thing again. It took 15 minutes and intonation wasn't off too much, so I didn't even work on it. And maybe with the intonation it could be 20 minutes, 25, and it was my first time. If you think about it, in the long run, when I got familiar with this nice guitar, probably it's gonna be much easier for me to set it up, and even 15 minutes with only just setting it up quickly, it's okay for me. If you have any issues with the tremolo systems, two-way systems, Floyd Rose, or like this one, you can be sure that you can set this thing up. Probably if you're not experienced, I always set up my guitars, so I got the experience. But if you don't, if you give a couple of trials, I'm sure you will do it under half hour with a decent setup. Just don't break it. So these were my concerns, and because of this tremolo thing, unique EndurNeck profile, and definitely the pickups, I was kind of hesitated. But if you're in Europe, you have this 30-day return policy. If you're outside of Europe, I don't know how things go. You can, check the dealers, and if they have a policy like that, or Strandberg has this policy worldwide, you can give a decision with that. This is not my first Strandberg. I had another one for 1 day or two. It was an Boden original NX 8-string, and I realized that I don't need an 8-string, and it was quite expensive, and I don't need it, so I just returned it. But this one is different. This one is something I chose because I need it, and I'm quite happy how it turned out. So that was all. Thank you so much for checking this video. Please check my all other videos. I cover a lot of periphery. I covered Plini, Alter Bridge, Epica. I have 26 songs. I do prog metal and also lo-fi, if you like that kind of thing. And you can also check my website for free neural DSP tones, and you can definitely check my merch because they're amazing. There are a lot of guitar, prog head, gent head kind of things in there. So if you like to support me, start with subscribing, continue with turning that notification bell, and definitely check my website and my songs. I will see you in the next video because I have more guitars to present. So, stay with guitar.